Rolling along here on the Thursday crossover. All of our Thursday crossovers across the Locked On Podcast Network are sponsored and brought to you by PrizePicks. Download the app and use the code Locked On NFL to win $50 instantly when you play $5. Talking to Tyler Roden of Locked On Titans, and I am Tony Wiggins of Locked On Jaguars. No, we ain't wrestling. Usually when we see each other, we're going to tear up some furniture and wrestle and argue with each other like we do sometimes, but it's really all love and friendly debate between Tyler and I. Both hosted the Locked On NFL show. Now, keys to victory. A victory that I don't believe either one of us particularly wants to happen, but somebody has to play. I think for the Jaguars, the keys to victory is get off the field on third down, stop doing dumb penalties. Now, this might, when you have two bad teams, this might be the same thing. Get off the field on third down, stop the dumb penalties that extend possessions for the other team, and find a way to create turnovers. Tyler, I'm going to blow your mind. The Jaguars have 8 turnovers this year that they have created. That is, I've never seen a number that low in my life. There's some teams that get 5 and 6 turnovers in one game.
Yes.
They have 8 for the entire season.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's bad. Well, I'm going to blow your mind, Tony. The Titans have 31 turnovers on offense this year as a team. This year, 31. Even Brian Callahan called that insane. So I think both of us, I'll go into my keys to victory, but the reality with this game is it's like, which dumb kid in class is less dumb? You know what I mean? It's not like what we need is we don't need our teams to go out and do something. It's what we need them not to do if they want to win. That it's not go do this. It's don't do this with our teams. And for the Titans, turnovers. 4 turnovers last week, 4 turnovers the week before. Like, again, the turnover, if you turn over the ball, you're going to lose because the Titans aren't good enough to stop it. And then stop the run. The Titans gave up 330 rushing yards last week to the Indianapolis Colts when you know that the quarterback can't throw and all they want to do is run, and you still couldn't do anything about it. And I think a lot of that had to do with the Titans have young linebackers right now. Kenneth Murray, who isn't very good anyways. He's hurt. Luke Gifford, who's a special teams only player, but one of the best inside linebackers on the team, he's out. Jerome Baker has been terrible. Now we're playing Cedric Gray, a rookie who missed most of the season with an injury, and James Williams, a 7th-round rookie who's transitioning from being a safety at the University of Miami, who I know you've seen James Williams. You heard of James Williams in high school. He's been a safety his whole life. He's transitioning to play linebacker, and Cedric Gray and James Williams were lost all week last week against the Colts run defense. Like, it was embarrassing how bad they were. And the Titans have a backup safety in, and Darryl Worley, who they picked up off waivers this year. Amani Hooker is a very good player in pass coverage, but he has had a very bad year in run defense with his angles and his tackling. So, like, if the Titans don't stop the run and they turn over the ball, they're going to get smoked. And the final thing for me is special teams. The Titans have been terrible on special teams all year long. They have a and I feel like when the Titans play the Jaguars find a way to win on special teams and influence the game. They've had some pretty good special teams units. I know it's not been perfect, but they've had some good special teams elements in recent years. So turnovers, run defense, special teams, that's what the Titans have to focus on if they want to win.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, I fully expect Mason Rudolph to be the better quarterback on the field this weekend. And I fully expect the Tennessee Titans to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Me too.
You can see it coming, man. I actually thought the Jaguars should have won the previous matchup that they played. Or did the Jaguars? I think the Jaguars did. Yeah, we did beat.
Oh, did either team really win? It felt like both teams lost with the way the game was.
And that's why I wanted to point this out. You mentioned 2 dumb kids in class. It's like if one kid is standing up at the board. I almost laughed when you said it. It's like a kid. It's like me and you, right? Look, what if it's me and you, and I turn and I'm at the board, and we got this little thing that when I cough, I'm gonna actually look between my arm, and you're gonna hold up something to tell me the answer, right? And the teacher goes, what's 10 minus 5? And I'm standing there and I'm trying to count on my fingers. She said, no fingers. And I cough and I look back, and you got this sign that goes, how much is a field goal in the NFL? And I write 3, and we're both wrong because it ain't 3. The answer's 5. So 2 dumb kids that can't get out of their own way. that's just who we are this weekend, man. It is ironic that for two groups of people that usually beat up on each other and pick at each other, that we look just alike. So whatever
Yeah, I
I
don't
say
think
about you,
anyone's any situation. No
no,
one's in
both
a
of us.
situation to pick on anybody else.
No, not at all. So for me, the keys is to keep everybody healthy, and it's to the point where there are some guys, and you're this late in the season, and I know they don't do load management, but like you said, if there's anything, I don't care if it's a hangnail, if there's an ingrown toenail that could keep Trayvon Walker and Brian Thomas Jr. and the rest of those guys from playing once they hit their incentives or hit their benchmarks for their career, I would
Right.
snatch them out so fast, because you lose a guy now, you might be losing him for the first part of the season. This is where you don't want somebody who has a lot of value, like Foye Oluokun, your starting Mike linebacker, or your starting corner. You don't want to get that torn pec muscle that's going to keep them out until November next year. That's the point that I'm trying to make.
Yeah, everything's about next year for these teams right now. And yeah, the last thing that you want is a major injury that can impact not only next season, but like you want these guys to have a healthy all season, especially your young players that you're talking about who are continuing to grow as players and learning. Like Brian Thomas Jr. cannot afford to miss out on this all season, because we know that when you're coming from the draft, after your college season ends, you start training for the combine. You start training for draft stuff, which is not the same as training for football. You know what I mean? It's totally different things that you're training for. So that first offseason in the NFL for a young player is so, so critical. You do not want to have them get any kind of major injury. And I feel the same for, any of the young players on the Titans, quite honestly. You know what I mean? That you just cannot afford to have anybody who you need next year get hurt in any of these meaningless games.